video on what we call intermittent reinforcement. So this kind of phrase originates from a psychologist called B.F. Skinner, who had a theory on operant conditioning, which is basically learning by consequence to do behaviour. So this can be positive or negative, basically. So a typical positive one would be a reward chart or something, as we'll hopefully get onto in future videos or live Q&As, where your child does a behaviour and they get a reward for it. So there could be a sticker chart or a day out with their favourite, day out with a parent or something like that, some sort of positive thing that they did to get the behaviour. And the negative one is what we're going to talk about today, and this is kind of typically we see quite a lot of sleep training, especially in certain behaviours or some kind of actions that parents do, is where you say no, 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 and then you kind of give up and say, oh, all right, just this time. Because the child then kind of learns that if they persist with a negative behaviour such as shouting out or crying or something like that, then they will kind of get what they want. So a typical one would be maybe a slightly older child or a toddler saying like crying out, or saying, or sorry, at bedtime saying, can I have one more story, one more story, one more story, and you keep saying, nope, we've had our one story, that's all we're getting, and they keep asking, and then you eventually go, all right, fine, we'll just have one more and then we'll go to bed. This could kind of seem like nothing to you, and if you're fine with just doing another book, but then they kind of learn that, oh, hang on, if I keep like holding out for longer and longer and try for harder and persist more and more, then I will eventually get what I want. This is also quite common with kind of people who have a problem with co-sleeping, so we'll get onto co-sleeping and how you kind of, it's completely up to you, it's not a problem unless it's a problem. But for people who it is a problem, we quite often see where it's like, look, the parents don't want the co-sleeping to happen, either they've tried it and they don't want it, or from the start they don't want it at all. But the child will say, if it's a toddler, again, if they keep waking up and trying to go into their bed and the parents can, nope, walk them back to the room, and then it gets to 4 o'clock and it's completely understandable, and the parent goes, oh fine, just stay in bed, and kind of they will just kind of continue sleeping. Obviously the good bits of this is that everyone gets to sleep more, but it's also kind of teaching the child that if they just keep on persisting with this negative bad behaviour, they will eventually get what they want. And this can then prolong these unwanted sleep problems that you might have, whether it's screaming out or wanting a different book or co-sleeping. Any of these problems, a lot of it is to do with this negative reinforcement or intermittent reinforcement. So it can be tough, especially at 4 o'clock in the morning, or if you just want the kid to get to sleep and you think, you know what, if I just read them one more book, they'll go to sleep happily. But it could then be prolonging the sleep issues you're having because the child is just learning to hold out for longer and harder and just persist more and more, because they will know that eventually they will get what they want. So obviously, although it is hard, it's better just to go, right, set your limits and decide that with both parents or everyone who's sleep training, say, right, at bedtime we have one book, one story, and then a kiss and a cuddle, and then we go, type thing, and everyone sticks to that. It can sometimes just take one mother-in-law or someone like that, just like, oh, it's all right, we'll just have 10 books tonight or whatever, and it could then confuse a child. So just make sure, especially in those first kind of initial sleep training, when you start trying, set the limits and stick to them, and just eventually, hopefully not even that long, the child will soon learn that, all right, look, I've been trying, but they're not giving in, so I might as well just go to sleep now because I've asked for another book and another book and another book. It's the limit to only have one. They will hopefully then learn, look, I'm not going to get what I want, I will go to sleep. So yeah, that's intermittent reinforcement, and just try to avoid falling into the trap of doing it.